Welcome back to the Home and Life Design Summit Season 3, where we are having conversations with amazing Awaken leaders, intuitives, and we are meeting with Jennifer, who is a high priestess. And we're having conversations around embodying art and beauty to create more joy in your life. I am your host, Fallon Jordan, and I am so excited to have Jennifer Ashira Raw here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, sister. I'm so honored. Thank you for
I'm
having this space for all of us.
Absolutely. And your name is so fun to say. I've been really, really looking forward to interviewing you so I can say it out loud.
Oh, thanks. Well, that soul name came in recently, and I had been walking as Jennifer Magdalene because I walked with Mary Magdalene, opening up my body and remembering again. And then my original lineage came in, and that's who I am. Ashira means giver of codes, and that is who I'll be. That is who I truly am in my soul.
I love that so much. And I love that you said that's what your name means, because that's one of the most powerful things that sticks out to me about your energy. And then like actually like looking at your website and reading your bio. So I wanted to share a little bit more about you. So Jennifer is a divine channel. And like I said, she's a high priestess initiator and master new age leader. And her mission is to activate the new codes of humanity for the new golden age, which is why I'm so grateful that she is with us. And she's activated thousands to open their highest codes. Her activation meditations are some of the most powerful things that I've personally ever experienced. Please get in her world. And she's founder of the Light Priestess Temple Global Community and New Divine Feminine Leaders Academy. She travels to sacred sites on the planet, activating the new temples of light and gathering the new leaders of light on earth. I mean, just let that sink in of how beautiful and powerful that is. Oh, it takes my breath away. So I would love to hear a little bit more about just your journey, like we were talking about before hitting record, how you embody art and like what your journey has been with art.
Well, I started, that bio, I have to pinch myself when you read it because it doesn't, that's me.
It is.
Because, it always wasn't that way. I grew up, I was adopted at 6 months. I was given up by my birth mother. And you kind of feel alone as and an outsider when you have that abandonment, no matter how much work I love. I have a beautiful, loving, adoptive family. All my brothers and sisters are adopted as well. My mother couldn't have children. But you have this wound, and there's sometimes the anger inside of you of being left. And so I would channel it through drawing, and I drew since I could hold a pencil in my hand. I love drawing with pencil because you can do the shades. And
Yeah.
I would draw. I went into fashion. I would draw women and like their coats and their matching purses, and I would also grid cities. It's bizarre. I learned my birth grandfather was a city planner. I mean, it just goes in your
Oh
codes.
my
And I would
gosh.
literally tape eight and a half
That's
by
so
11
you.
pages together on the floor, and I'd have the business district, and then I'd have like roof views, and I would do this over the whole family room, and like I'd have my city, and then I don't know what I think I threw it away afterwards, but I would plan a whole city, and then I would draw women and fashion, and I did that since I was 4, and I wanted to go into fashion. And then I did. And then I got burned out going into that world. But art has been my saving grace. I was an art major and a design major in college. And I love the world of imagination.
Mm.
And it was my best friend growing up, being the youngest, and my brother and sister were much older, and they didn't want to hang out with me. And I definitely found it through art, and it felt really alone sometimes on the path as a young girl. And I had a lot of heaviness in me. I was not the happiest. I'm amazed I'm still here. I didn't want to stay here. And and I would find the solace through my pen and my pencil and my colored markers. And I had all these cans my mom would have of markers, and she'd save all my drawings. And it was just a way of really navigating as a young girl in this 3D world when I didn't have angel visions. I didn't squash anything. I really didn't have much vision and know who I truly was till after 2012. A lot of us stayed hidden until then. So I really didn't have visions of angels and then, was told that it was crazy and I squashed it. I didn't have any of that. I really didn't have any of that till I was older, until it was safe. The second wave of ascension, the the souls that are taking the people that are awakened and taking you higher, a lot of us couldn't come online until it was safe, till lower entities can't enter you until unless you give them permission, is after 2012, after
Wow.
that ascension that happened. So I really didn't have my soul fully align, and I kind of became like a self walk-in after 2012. And I went through a 5 year of nothingness, walking away from my successful 7 figure clothing business that I started in Los Angeles and ran that for 15 years. And then I heard a voice to that it's time to leave. And I was like, no, 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 it's all I know. What am I going to do? And then I slowly made that decision to step off the curb into the unknown and follow my soul. I don't know if any of you out there are having, like, you're at a fork in the road where you know you can feel your soul calling you here, but there's safety in the job or the 9 to 5 or what you've been doing. But all I can say is what you've been doing will keep you what you've been doing. And the only way people are going to ascend and move into the golden age is they need to see you. And more importantly, they need to feel you to be transformed by you and to show up and step off that curb. And so I stepped off the curb and went into 5 years of nothingness where I was unwound from that masculine go, go, go
Mhm.
to this new way of being where my eyes looking out at you now are not the same woman that was running that clothing business. And then here I am. So, and it's been a path. It's having to open. Being visible is not my favorite place. I'm the little girl that likes to draw and be
Yeah.
by herself and be in that. I have a little extrovert in me, but I love the introvert, so I get my power and being alone and being in my own space and really getting strong in that. And so being visible and how much we have to be out there with ourselves. Running a clothing business, I didn't have to do that. The models did that. And so this
True.
has been a really path for me, is to step out of wanting to be invisible and not wanting to speak my truth and not wanting to stand in who I was because I feared I had some wounds in my field. And so it's been a huge journey for me to stand here today and meet with you.
Yes, and I'm so grateful that you did step off that curb. And every single person that I've met with so far has shared their journey of leaving the comfort of the 9 to 5. And so I definitely feel like a lot of our listeners are in that place. And maybe they actually just took that first step off the curb and they're like, am I sure that I want to do this? And so I just want to thank you for sharing that, because the people who are listening, definitely, this is like your sign that like you were doing exactly what your soul is meant to do. Because I only know Jennifer Ashira as this person, and like this is you, right? This goddess, this female embodiment. Like I was saying before, like you really do embody art and beauty. Like that is you. Like you are a way shower, you are a joy spreader. That's what you do, and you went through all of these things to get here. So just honoring you and thanking you for that.
Aw, thank you. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for your presence and what you're doing for the planet. We do this together. The new golden age is not a one person, one guy journey. When they see that we can all come together, and that's why we do group code activations. And I do one-on-one sessions and activations, but I want to turn on Zoom and it be 10,000 people, because then we are creating such an amplified field and we are changing the world and we're changing the planet and the frequency, and we're opening those new gateways, and we are leaving that old way behind, that is duality and scarcity and you're not enough and all of that, into this new world of love and union and prosperity and connection and transparency and this golden way of being that is who we truly are. It's not like we're going into something new, we're going back to what we were.
Yes. Oh, I love how you said that. That's so true. So I would love to hear a little bit more about the new golden age, and like, do you see it like, or when you're in that energy of it, like how would you describe it to someone who's never experienced that before?
Well, when you get into a frequency of love, so when we open up all of our activations, we grid with the grounding and we grid with source, always with source, because that's who you are. You are a co-creator of the universe. You are the quantum field. You everything that you think is big and grand out there, you are a piece of it, like the ocean. You're the drop in the ocean. You are the same, and so you can co-create everything that you want in your life. When people ask me, well, how do you seem to predict your future? And I'm like, yeah, because I create it. I
Yeah.
create it through my pineal, which is my divine masculine seat in my body, with my thoughts. It's an electric thought form. And then I send that out. And then I send out the magnetic form of my divine heart, which is the divine feminine. And when they meet, they go out, and that high elevated emotion with your thought form creates your reality. All this space between me and you is plasma that you can co-create and create what you want to call in. And you literally can create it and create those neural pathways. And so the golden age begins within each of us. So as you move into these heart, we open up the golden heart light and turn on our magnetic field. So when you turn on your heart, you amplify that energy, and it turns on your magnetic field, which goes out 9 meters physically, and then it goes to the ends of the earth. So when you're in that field and you're feeling great, and then you are really thinking about someone or something, and that person calls you, or the old boyfriend comes back in, or you're in a new relationship and you're feeling so yummy, and all these old boyfriends and girlfriends start calling you,
Yeah.
and they can feel you. They're
Yeah.
like, God, something's going on over there, because they can feel you, because you're in this magnetic energy. And that is the golden age. It is temples, because I've traveled for 7 years opening up temples of light and portals from Bali to, I'm on the island of Hawaii right now, where I was called here by Pele and goddess Paliahu, the two sisters of this island of the two volcanoes, to open the new golden temple of light, which is on the plateau of the Valley of the Kings. And we brought it in last Lionsgate in its light form, and it's the energy holder of all of the codes. So the codexes were separated when the consciousness fell, the wisdoms of this universe and how galaxies are created. There is wisdom, and there is a codex to that. And it was separated all within the priestess lineages of the planet Earth. And so we just unified the priestess lineage at our last 777 pilgrimage just a week and a half ago, bringing that all back into union, because everything was kind of separated, and then bringing it back into union, because we're now the Pisces, the Aries age, and then it went into the Pisces age, was lower consciousness, and now we're in the Aquarian age, and we're moving into balance, where the divine feminine and divine masculine will be balanced. And so all of us are having to raise our divine feminine, because it got squashed, it got persecuted, it was oppressed, it was shut down. That part of you gathering with women, I used to be in total fear when I started gathering women in Northern California, a little moon circle. I put a little flyer up, and I was the one who ran a business, and I had, 16 employees. I told everyone what to do. I put up a flyer in Northern California, and then I was like, oh my gosh, why'd I do that? Oh no, then I'm going to have to be the center. And now they're going to see me, and they're going to need me to tell them, to lead them. And I'm like even sweating right now thinking about it. And it was complete dread. Like I'd gone to the dentist instead. And then I did the circle, and I'm like, okay, I'm done forever. I did a gathering, and then I did another flyer. I'm like, what am I doing? It's my Sagittarius rising. I'm like, oh no, I did another flyer. And I'm like, oh no. And then I went through the whole dread again. And so I went through this whole thing. And so that was me being in more disconnection. So as I've come more into connection, and if you can feel this within your body, feeling that juiciness of feeling like falling in love with yourself, just thinking of something that really turns you on and really you love, like your child or your puppy, or when you met your beloved, and that opens up your heart, turns on your magnetic field. Well, that's the golden age. And then there are structures coming in, and they are here because they're going to end up being in the physical. Like this golden temple of light in Hawaii is literally the golden center of all the energies and of this codex of union. And every ascended master and council of light that works with earth has to come through this. They come through this temple of light, because it's the energy center for the next million years. And the energy of it is all of our hearts together as one, being in union. And that fuels it. And so there's no manipulation. It's just consistently that course of light. And so it's not like we're going somewhere. It comes from within, and then it shows up around us.
Mm.
Does that make sense? I
Yeah, and
kind of
as
wish
you're
I
talking about it,
could.
and I'm like looking at your beautiful jewels and everything, I'm just like, for sure, like the Hawaii goddess, like this is the place, like you said, where these ascended masters are coming through. Like that's just, it's really amazing. And it's really amazing that you said that this came in about a year ago on 8/8.
Yeah, I was living in California. I was called to be back in my hometown, which is San Diego, and I hadn't been in San Diego living since high school. It has changed a lot, and there was a sea temple there that I needed to see, that I'd looked at my whole life. That then was a goddess cave of 9 temples, and you could literally see the goddess shapes in the edges of the cliff. Because
Oh,
when you travel and you start to see sacred sites, like I had just been in Greece, and they do a lot in the temples and a lot in the caves. They really are, and Crete and these cultures that are islands that do a lot of ceremony in caves, and the mermaid culture and the codes of the mermaid and the goddess, a lot in Ireland as well. And so you start to see similar things on the edges of cliffs, like all the edges of cliffs and the lava here too on this island are beings. Like you'll see their profile. Like I was on the island of Lesbos, and Adonis, you could literally see he has a certain kind of chin, and you could see it. I saw thrones carved in the rock with beings like sitting on it. Now they're all kind of washed away because these are from the fourth incarnation of Earth. We're in the fifth incarnation of Earth, but you can still see it.
yeah.
And in other islands I've been to. So when I was in San Diego and I looked at that cliffs and I was like, wow, I've seen this before. And I had new eyes. I grew up there and I never noticed anything. And so from there, I was called to Hawaii, and Pele and Poliahu came through, and you might feel called too. You might get visions. I see things and I get like snapshots, and then I ask more, and then I ask more questions, and then it's just like a knowing. And then I had a couple girlfriends here, and they were telling me about the goddess culture in Hawaii, and there's so many goddesses here, and Ohana, which is family, and it just felt right. And I shipped my car and my boxes, and here I am. So I went with my intuition. That's how I live. I go by what I feel, and there's no other way for me,
Mhm.
because if I go against how I feel, then I'm going against my soul contract or my soul codes or what my soul is calling me towards.
It sounds
And
like you're following your joy in like the highest and most, to me, like most efficient way. Like you get something and then you ask more questions and then it happens.
yeah, and then sometimes it's not an easy path,
Right.
because what I've noticed when you move into your higher levels, you might have mastered something, and then when you move into a next level, like you have an activation, like in our events and our pilgrimages, we do code activations, and then you move into a higher level, and myself included, and then you're kind of at the beginning of the next higher level, and so new wounds might come in that need to be healed. Right now, they're really big ones. Like I've been in one healing it and releasing it for over 3 months, which normally I do in 48 hours. I can do some ceremony and some processes that I've learned that I can just move through it by feeling it. Mary Magdalene teaches us to feel all our feelings. And then they move on forever. By feeling them, you honor them, and then they can dissolve and move on to their path of ascension. Everything is energy. And so as I as I've been really dealing with a big one, it's been a process, because where I'm being asked to go, I can't bring that with me. That old way of being. It was like some anxiety and some panic when I was a little girl, when I was given up for adoption. That little girl went into panic. And it's just been part of me. I thought it was who I was, but it's a program.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is a lot of the things that we have challenges in and how we operate are programs, and they all can be healed and dissolved, and by feeling them and doing work around them. But myself included, there's no like what free lunch. You really need to do the work. I don't bypass. I don't do plant medicine. I don't feel you need it now in this. The energies are so here and clear. I feel like you just have to go in and feel it. And when you let it run through your body, it's not as scary as you think. And you let it run through. And sometimes I like let it out, or I really like use my body and I really feel it and let it kind of literally like runs through me. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then and then there's sometimes some little layers, other layers that come up. But what I've noticed is that by really feeling it and honoring it, then I can step into who I truly am and share my gifts with the world at that next higher level.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful that you're doing it.
It's not easy sometimes though, you know? What about you? Like, do you feel like when you have to like really look at something or feel something, or beloved sitting and who's watching us right now, and maybe you're dealing with something right now and it's easier just to, go eat another piece of cake or go watch a movie or go get a new lover or go shopping, and it's so much easier. But I invite you to just feel it, because then you can move on to what's behind that. because your next level breakthrough is what's behind that.
Exactly. And that's, for me, that's been the biggest thing, is like, if I just have to like feel this pain and deal with this anger and this grief and this frustration and let it just go through me, knowing that it's gonna help me into my next evolution, then like it's totally worth it. Definitely a lot easier when I can do it in the sun and I can get some of the sun codes, but sometimes it doesn't work out. You know, sometimes you get a bad phone call on a rainy day and you just kind of have to sit there and just let it go through you. But I
Yeah.
really appreciate you saying that for sure. I'm sure you can feel some stuff that I've had going on this week.
Yeah, I know. It's really been there. The things that our people are going through right now are almost taking you past your edge. Like this last one, it almost felt like um, chaos, and not like, but my nervous system couldn't handle it. It was like I was not sleeping good. I was in a state of worry, and it was like dramatized 10 million times, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. It was like when it's so physical, that means it's on the surface and it's up for release, which is good because that means it's ready to go. And if you're like, oh, shove it back down, let me go drink some more wine, or let me go, like, then you're literally going to have it worse. It's going to come in as a 2x4, like next, or you hit your car, or I mean, something like it has to get your attention. So I invite you to just let it run through you and feel it, because when it can leave, and then you can open new areas and new space for your true soul codes to then kind of bubble up to the surface, and your gifts and masteries, because that's what's hiding and keeping down and holding you back from stepping into your gifts and masteries and who you truly are, is these old patterns and these old programs that tell you you're not good enough, or you don't matter, or people are going to judge you, or don't be seen and don't be visible, you're not safe. All those old patterns were there to protect us because there were ages when we weren't safe, and so you have it encoded and it kept you safe. But now it's safe, isn't it, to gather with women? It's safe to just go share something that you have in your bones and you need to share it. And I invite you and even ask you, like, what is inside of you? What's your song that's inside of you that you cannot leave this planet without sharing?
Oh, I love that. I hope everybody goes back and re-listens to that and like journals about it, because I am definitely going to be doing that. Thank you so much. Because
Yeah,
it's
because the
important.
world,
Everybody knows. I think everyone deep down knows what they're meant to do, or what they're meant to embody or give or receive. And sometimes we just get too scared. And when we really look at what we want in the face and realize that, like you were talking about, like you can create it. Like we have these very powerful, pineal glands, we have these powerful hearts. We can create our reality. You just really have to be honest with yourself. Like, what do I really want? And to get what I want, I have to release this. I have to release this old identity. I have to release the things that are even in my body that aren't mine, generations of being prosecuted for wanting to share the gifts that I have. And, maybe you've been killed multiple times because of those gifts in previous lifetimes. I know that's one of the big ones for me, but it's so worth it. Like all of this stuff that we're talking about, like there's just no other option, right? Like when you take that first step, it's like you just want to keep running and keep going and just share it.
yeah, and that's so great that you share that, because it is taking that first step and then having community with around you. I couldn't do this without having found community, and it's not my adoptive family or friends I had from when I was younger. It's friends and beloveds that I have found later in life, that we're walking the same path and we support each other, and we can share with each other. And community is really, it's the most amazing thing to cultivate that and to find community, find like-minded tribe. That's really how we can navigate all of this, is by
Mhm.
having that community around us, don't you feel?
100%. And as you're saying that, I'm kind of having these like revelations about some of my stuff, like some of my branding, right? Like boundaries, self-care, but it's really what you just said. It's about all of these little things that are necessary, like having boundaries and taking care of yourself and loving yourself, but ultimately it's get to this place. Like I can be my 100% self with these people, and it doesn't have to look the way that it looks it's looked for thousands of years. It doesn't have to look like somebody else's family or situation, but like what's true for me, like where am I going to be the most lit up with my life? And where do I not have to hide my light? And especially in the relationships that we have control over, which in some essence, I believe we have control over all of our relationships, right? With our energy and just that sense of community being the new family is kind of what I was hearing and kind of feeling when you shared that, which means a lot to me and anyone who's heard my story. So thank you.
Yeah, soul family, soul tribe is how we're all finding each other again. We've been priestesses or leaders of light in other temples and other incarnations, and we're all finding each other again, and we finish each other's sentences and we fill in other incarnations. Oh yeah, I was there, and oh yeah, you had brown hair in that life, and oh now you have blonde hair, so nice to see you again. And it's like you just fall in love again because you found your soul family and you found your soul sister and soul brother, and it makes this path so much more fun.
I'm still kind of obsessing about you. And you said something about the cliffs in Ireland and the mermaids. And I'm like, I have to go there. Like there's
Yeah,
some,
Ireland has a lot, and Greece. Greece was had so many. Ireland has a lot with Bridget and in the caves,
yeah.
and they do a lot with the caves as well. And the ones I was walking in and swimming to were in Greece, and they had literal mermaids carved into rocks, like some of the special ones. And it's just it's so magical, their lineage of the goddess and of Mother Mary, a lot with Mother Mary as a mermaid. Like she has a mermaid tail, and they have pictures of her because they have those beautiful white churches and chapels at the very, very top of a hill, like how
Yeah.
they got all the building supplies up that hill, like
Yeah.
on a donkey. I mean, I don't know how they do it. And it's just, and you walk up and you walk up, and then you see all these beautiful photos and paintings of the goddess and of the saints, and it's just, and they have candles all lit, and it's just, it's so beautiful, the lineage they hold, and they carry that. And then you find the goddess caves, you'll find someone who knows where the secrets are, and you kind of go and and then I would start seeing things, yeah, and all the edges of cliffs, and in the lava here in Hawaii, I see griffins, I see angels, I see women praying and their faces. I mean, it's just as clear as day. Like it's just, there's beings in it, and then they show themselves to you. It's just, it's
It's
amazing.
so amazing. Like, Earth is just such a really unique, beautiful place. And I really hope people listening, that's one of your takeaways from this conversation and just, being in the world of the people who are here sharing their story and their insight is that Earth really is a beautiful place. Like we have it so good.
It's a beautiful place, and we're all finding each other again. And the sisterhood that was separated is now coming into oneness, and we're trusting and healing any of those sisterhood priestess wounds and coming back into remembrance of that we are held by our sisters, just as we hold someone, they hold us. And as we hold that and create that, that is the new golden age. We're birthing it within your heart. The heart is the leader of the new golden age. That is, they've found that there's brain cells in the heart, like the heart actually thinks. And so it's actually the leader, and the mind is the servant to the heart. But we're so
Yes,
in
I
our heads,
love
aren't we?
that.
Yeah, and so that's that higher, and you link your higher mind to your higher heart, and then the lower mind, like doing like your day-to-day tasks and like the worry and things like that. That's your lower mind, and then that becomes the servant of the heart, and the heart leads. If you make decisions by leading with your heart, you can breathe into your heart. The slower you slow down your breath, the slower you slow down your brain waves, and then you can move into the parasympathetic, which is creation and rejuvenation, and love, away from fear and flight, which is the sympathetic nervous system. And so as you move into that parasympathetic, you turn on all these oxytocin and all these bliss chemicals, and you move into that love state just naturally, like
Mhm.
and you can live as this. And this is the golden age. And so this is like you living that heart-centered life. And it's not just pie in the sky or like, yeah, heart, you can create it. So just like, oh, I'm opening my heart, and then just you open it, and I can just feel this second, like it's changing the frequency around me, and it softens everything, and it creates spaciousness, and then it's calling in all the best situations, people, events, and situations to come into you because you're creating from this place. That's your signature then, is you're imprinting this on everything you do. So what are you imprinting on everything you do? Stress, worry, fear. Oh my gosh, I'm running late. Oh, I don't think I can do it. Oh, but I'm going to go call that and make it happen. Or are you just going to be in your heart and then allow, not do matter on matter manifestation, that's slower, but send it out and just be it and open it. I have this sticky note. I'm a believer of the old school of autosuggestion, and I have sticky notes up in my house, and one of them is my body is in a state of blissful gratitude and it predicts my future. So if you are in a state of blissful gratitude, gratitude means you've already received it. And so you're in a state of blissful gratitude and joy. You could add joy in. What kind of future are you calling in? Like
I am looking back at
how
it
can you
now.
not call in what you want?
That is
So I
really
have that on
interesting.
my bathroom sticky note. I have a sticky note on my mirror. I built up my 7-figure business with sticky notes on my bathroom mirror. I had one back in the day that said I'm going to have a certain sales volume by the end of this year. And my boyfriend at the time, that sticky note enrolled him. I had no idea. He told me years later, when I saw that sticky note on your mirror, I wanted you to have that. So I started creating things in my field so that you could then have that. And I did reach that goal.
Oh,
But it was like, wow, I enrolled someone else with my auto suggestion. And so, because I'm creating that field in my, I'm a big devotee of like listening to tapes in your car, putting stuff on, having people like on YouTube that are talking to you that are telling you great messages. And I don't listen to so much music as I listen to things that are creating neural pathways and keeping me on that path. Because as a human, it's easy to just, I fall off, what's it called, fall off the horse too, and I get into that kind of like Alice in Wonderland where you go down that slippery slope. I do too. um, but I've noticed that in my life I've created these ways of being, and I never had a bad year in my business. We always grew, and same with what I'm doing now, it's always growing. So, and that's the only way I know, is by continually creating that field around me. And then it also starts from within, and then what's around you as well. It's kind of
amazing.
my formula, or my recipe of a way that works, and it's served me well, and it can be helpful if it helpful for anyone out there. I'm so excited because
Absolutely.
if we all can step into that, just think what this golden age will be. We're all living, doing what we love, having abundance, living our truth, standing in our message, sharing what we love to do, having the most amazing friends and family around us, having prosperity to do anything you need to do in the world, having the freedom to go and fly, or take time off to be with your children or to be with your beloved, and you just have this life. Well, you can create that.
Mhm.
And it just starts with your own heart and your own intention.
That is so beautiful. And like the perfect segue into you talking about your free gift.
Oh, yes. So please join our free gift that we have, which is the golden codes, your golden destiny, which is one of my new activations, and it will step you in and open you to your golden destiny of your highest codes. And then you'll join our mailing list and join our community of light. And that's what I want to share with you, so you can step into this and open to who you truly are and your gifts and masteries.
It's amazing. I'm so excited for you guys. You can just claim that by clicking the link below and just getting into Jennifer's like super beautiful. Like when I say beautiful, like you think of like gold, goddess, Egypt, like one of the most beautiful places that you can be is in her energy. So
Aw. So, what kind words. Amazing. Wow, I'm so
yeah,
just
well, and thank you so
gonna
much
receive
for being so
that.
generous. Like your energy is worth so much. I was telling you the activation I did with you a couple weeks ago was one of the most profound things I've ever done. It was just so amazing. So grateful for your generosity and for all these beautiful people to be able to have access to your activation codes.
Oh, yeah. It's so important that we're all together and activating this golden age of light and activating your gifts and mastery so you step into your divine purpose. And that's what I do. I help divine feminine leaders unlock their full sacred potential, breaking through their limiting beliefs so they can step into their life's destiny and their purpose with grace and ease and certainty and confidence.
Amazing. I am so grateful for you. So
Oh,
thank you
I'm
for
just
your
going to receive
insight
that.
and story and just everything that you're bringing to the world. And I know we'll see each other again soon. And I hope to see those of you listening on some of these things that Jennifer is doing because they are just so fun. And like you said, once you take that one step, there's no looking back. And it's just like a wild, fun ride from there.
Yeah, yeah. Come on over to lightpriestesstemple.com. Join us.
So y'all can claim that by clicking the link below. I will see everyone else in the next conversation. Jennifer, thank you so, so, so much.
Thank you, Fallon. I am so honored.
So much fun.
Blessings.
Blessings.